Alright lads, and welcome to another thrilling adventure in Yorkshire history. Now, as a nice foil to my video on Cistercian monks, today I'm talking about naughty nuns. That's right, I'm going right to the gutter with this one. I'm going to be talking about St Clement's Priory and the naughty nuns of Yorkshire. So, let's look at this part of Yorkshire's hidden history. Churches, banners, kings and queens, factories and big machines, castles, forts and in-betweens are stories and St Clement's Priory in York was infamous for its scandals. It wasn't a big priory, it only had about 8 or 9 nuns at any one point, but it had its fair share of drama. Now, being a nun in medieval times wasn't particularly exciting. You know how much a nun got? None at all. I'm sorry, but you'll also find that's not particularly true either. Now, we don't have a lot of details about these stories, so we've got to use our imagination a little bit, but they provide a fascinating glimpse into the lives of these women. Some had chosen to be nuns, some were forced into it, but all of them had gotten a bit bored and wanted a bit of action and adventure in their life. So, let's get cracking. Late one night in 1300, a nun named Cecily crept to the gate of the priory. There she met a group of men, and jumping on a horse, she whipped off a habit, she did have something on underneath by the way, and rode off to live with a man in Darlington for 3 years. But that's not all. In 1310, a nun named Joan Saxton was banned from holding any offices in the priory. She was allowed to stay, but only under the strict supervision of the prioress and the decent nuns. She was not, however, under any circumstances to have any contact with Alice, who was to be expelled if she was found to be still living at the priory. Now, we don't know if they were really in a relationship, but I find it very telling that shortly after this, the Archbishop felt the need to ban all girls over the age of 12 from staying in the priory as boarders. The priests weren't much better either. Just 3 years later, one of them was found to be having it on with one of the nuns. But by far the best story is that of Joan of Leeds. In 1318, she faked her death to run off and be with a man. Now, what she did was she pretended to have a mortal illness and then created a dummy which was given a funeral in the churchyard, and then she ran off. Now, we don't know if the nuns were complicit in this, and the reason I say this is, I don't know about you, but I find it pretty impressive that she could make a dummy of herself which then passed as a real dead body, as, you know, you can kind of tell what a dead body is, but I digress. The point is, Joan was given a burial. She ran off to be with a man in Beverley. She was soon found out though and ordered to return to the priory, but we don't know if she really did. In 1418, the Archbishop of York got so sick of these nuns falling into carnal lust that he created some rules for them. Secular women were not to talk to the nuns lest any evil suspicions arise, and men and secular women were not to stay in the dormitories with the nuns. But I mean, it's kind of a given, isn't it? That's all I've got time for today about naughty nuns. I hope you've enjoyed this video, hope you've learnt something new, and hope to see you again soon.